This is the last film in Marvel's Phase 2 of the cinematic universe, so they've got to end with at least a noise, not a whimper. But thankfully I can tell you that now that I've seen the film, they end with a noise. I really enjoyed Ant-Man, I did. I didn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to. I wanted to love this film, I wanted to come out of it and be like, oh my god, it is amazing. Come back here and say Ant-Man is amazing, all the heavenly voices and all that stuff. Not quite that good, but it was still pretty cool. First off, do not go into this film expecting the huge comic book summer blockbuster awesomeness that the trailer suggested it was, because it's not really like that. The first half of this film is slower than the second half because it concentrates more on the characters and them planning the heist, which didn't bother me because I do like the characters. I liked Paul Rudd, I liked Evangeline Lilly, I liked Michael Douglas. I got invested in what they were doing and I was behind their whole scheme and their whole projects, like screw Yellow Jacket and all that stuff. But then the second half kicks on and it is the heist, it's all going down, the action's going down, and it is some many different flavours of awesome. Getting into the characters, I liked Paul Rudd in this film, I liked his character, I like the fact that he's out of jail and he now wants to stop the whole robbery stuff because he wants to concentrate on looking after his daughter and all that stuff. And that's the reason why you are rooting for him. You're like, yeah, come on, be the Ant-Man, screw Yellow Jacket and all that stuff, because you want him to reconnect with his daughter and evade all the police and all that stuff. So you do get behind Paul Rudd in this film. I did anyway. The supporting cast did a good job also. Michael Douglas was cool in this film as the mentor, like teaching him how to use the Ant-Man suit and all that stuff. Evangeline Lilly was good as the daughter of Hank Pym. And also Michael Penny was surprisingly cool as well. They were pretty funny sometimes. Going back to what I was saying about the first half of the film, it's cool seeing Scott going through all these different training exercises, wearing the Ant-Man suit, trying to master it and trying to just figure out all the workings of it. It is really cool to see that stuff, some cool montages. Which leads me on to my big praise for this film, which is the CGI and visual effects. When he shrinks to the ant size, it is amazing. It is some really awesome stuff to see. Like when he's so tiny around everything else, like he's in the bathtub and the plug is all massive and then the water starts coming out and it's like a huge tsunami. It was some really cool, visually amazing stuff. Some of the best visual effects I've seen all year, in fact. Then in the second half of the film, when the action goes down, it is some really cool action stuff. Yellow Jacket and Ant-Man are throwing down. It is some really awesome stuff to watch. It's typical Marvel, you know, big explosions, and also it's like on a smaller scale as well, so everything's massive, like the train set and all that stuff. It is some really entertaining stuff to watch. Now it's just like, yeah, Ant-Man's awesome. Which leads me on to my criticism for this film, pretty much my only criticism with it really, and that is the villain, Darren Cross / Yellow Jacket. I knew what he was doing, I know what his evil scheme was, and I'm not going to spoil it for you obviously, but it's just his motive I didn't feel was there, you know? I'm like, why exactly are you doing this? What is your motive for doing this? Just tell me so I can care about you, because honestly, when he wasn't in the Yellow Jacket suit throwing down with Ant-Man, and he was just the dude in the suit, I just didn't really care about him. It's just like, oh, here's a villain for Ant-Man to take on in his first film. Okay, let's do this. Let's take him down because he's a douchebag. So yeah, the villain, he wasn't an awful villain, but he just wasn't the best villain per se. That's my big criticism with this film. I thought the villain was not very compelling. But apart from me not being invested in the villain, the rest of the stuff of the film I did like. I liked Paul Rudd, Evangeline Lilly, Michael Douglas, Michael Pena. I liked what they were doing in the film. I liked their characters. I liked what they were doing, like planning it throughout the first half of the film. All the training exercises were pretty cool to see. Then the second half is all high stuff, and it is, like I said, many flavours of awesome. It's just some really cool stuff to watch. Like I said, don't go into this film expecting a film on the scale of the Avengers, because it's not like that. It's a very small scale. Literally sometimes. So then also stay throughout the entire credit scenes. Yes, there's 2 end credit scenes, 1 post credits, 1 end credit scene. They were both pretty cool. But yeah, stay for the post-credit scenes because you have to. It's a Marvel film. It's like an author. You have to do it. Plus also stay tuned tomorrow or Sunday because I'm going to do a video where I rank the Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 2. Because there's 6 films now. Phase 2's done. So I'm going to put them in order from best to least best. So stay tuned for that video. So have you seen Ant-Man? What did you think about it? What do you think of it compared to the rest of Phase 2? Whatever your thoughts are, tell me down there. And if you like this stuff, be sure to subscribe because I got stuff coming to you guys all the time.